According to this very scientific study, about 80% of us have to play games with randoms. And so the odds are, if you care about the game, if you want to win games, if you want elo, you're gonna have to learn how to play with randoms effectively. A ton of my journey to face it level 10 was a lot of solo queue, a lot of playing with randoms, and it still is like that. I do still play a lot of solo queue. And within that solo queue grind, I realized that there are two main skills you have to focus on if you want to win more games. The first is super simple. It's just your gameplay, your crosshair placement, your aim, your game sense, your positioning, all of that stuff that we see a lot of videos on and that we focus on a ton. And now the second is something I didn't realize until a while on, and that's your communication, your ability to play with the team. Now with that, I'm not just talking about calls like, you know, 1CT or they're coming out ramp, just letting your team know what's going on. I'm more so talking about the way we interact with our teammates. Now, we don't typically think of this as something that's like a skill that you should work on and improve, but this is something I realized has a huge impact on my ability to win games. So to illustrate this point, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that really toxic people disproportionately top frag? This may just be me, this may just be a wrong observation, but it's something that I've seen occur over and over again. And this is because when we think about those two skills, you know, your gameplay and your communication, the way you interact with your team, they have to way overcompensate with their gameplay because that second skill, the way they interact with their team, is actively losing them elo and losing them games. So from a gameplay skill perspective, they should be at a much higher elo. But because their communication and their interaction with their team is so bad, it's losing them games. So they're at an equilibrium elo in between those two skills. Now, I'm not saying you're one of these people, and I'm not saying that your communication is actively losing you games, but what if it could actively win you games? So in this video, I want to talk about 3 different strategies you can implement into your games to win you games with your communication, with your interaction with your teammates. And these are things that really pushed me to level 10. Once I realized that they're things to be learned, they're things to be improved upon. Strategy number 1. So this is something that has taken me a long time to master and is something that plagues the CSGO community as a whole. And that is the simple fact that you have to relinquish control. Almost every time I go into spectator mode, I wish I could take control of whoever I'm spectating. I just want to be back in the game. I want to control the outcome and I want to play for everybody else. This is something that if you let it seep into your communication, it's going to lose you games. We have to accept that our random teammates are going to play the way they want to play. And one way of being able to accept this is an understanding that they, like you, are trying their best. They probably want to win the game, and maybe their way, their idea of how we're going to win this game is different from you. So the way they're going to play a clutch is going to be different. The way you play a clutch is going to be different, but the desired outcome is still the same. Both of you still want to win. This means that we have to trust them. And trust is hard. And I say trust because if we don't trust them, this is going to lead into what I call toxic directions. Now, I know we've all experienced this before. Somebody on your team wants to micromanage every other person on their team, and they don't let their team play their game. Do you perform well when this happens? I know I have such a hard time playing the game when somebody's trying to direct me. It's almost impossible. I just lose all motivation to play. That feeling of somebody breathing down our neck and watching our every move and criticizing it is going to ruin everybody's performance. So that example is pretty extreme, but this one is more mental. When we're allowed to relinquish control of other people's performance, we're going to play better because we're not focusing on our teammates and how they're doing. That ruins our performance as well. Now, our second strategy is to celebrate wins. I'm not only talking about winning the game, not only talking about winning a half, winning a round, I'm talking about specific little wins. A good flash, a good entry, a good trade. Everybody's gonna have little wins during the game. Now, this plays off of the extreme example of the first point. When we boil it down, we are better players when we feel confident in our game. When you feel like a good player, you're gonna play better. It's true for pretty much everybody. And when we celebrate little wins with our teammates, it builds that confidence for them. It makes them feel like a better player, and their gameplay is just gonna get better. So this is kind of a way to improve our teammates' gameplay without micromanaging, without feeling like we have to tell them what to do. So many times I've been in games where somebody does something great and nobody says, good job, nice, man. Then nobody gets hype. And when you think about it like this, like imagine we're playing a pickup basketball game and some random dude on your team dunks on their team, are you just gonna jog silently back to the end of the court? Are you not gonna look at them and say something? No, you're gonna get fucking hype. You're gonna be excited and you're gonna celebrate that win with them. And this doesn't only apply for rounds where you win. Maybe it's an eco, maybe it's just a tight round, but people still have little wins in rounds that you lose. Always say nice try and say it like you mean it, because the better our teammates feel, the better they will perform. My third tip is something that's like revolutionized my ability to play with my team. Now this is something that originated from duo queuing. I was playing with my buddy and I started doing this. I built a habit out of it and I was like, I should do this all the time. And that is to, at the start of the round, if you have a play in mind, if you're gonna go do something, which you should try to think about, start a round, what am I gonna do? Share it. Just say it. Just say what you're gonna do. Hey, I'm gonna molly car and take banana. I'm gonna go apps. Come trade me. Whatever it is, even if it's something super simple, just say it. I've noticed that when I have solo queue, a lot of people like to jump in a game and immediately take on the role of IGL, in-game leader. They want to create strats, they want to plan for every round, and they want to tell people what to do. It's another form of micromanaging and a less toxic behavior. And this can be great in certain situations. Maybe you've lost a few rounds in a row and you just want a strategy to get your team playing together again. Maybe it's an eco round and you want everybody to go do something together. It can be a great option. But despite this, what's more commonly a better option is to let your team play their game. People don't want to conform to your strategies the entire game. They want to do their own thing. They have their own ways of getting kills, of creating space, of winning the round. So the power of stating what you're going to do at the beginning of the round is that your teammates have the freedom to make decisions based on what you're going to do. So maybe they'll decide, hey, I'm going to go with him banana, right? I'll take banana with him. Or maybe they'll say, okay, he's going to go banana. I'll go into apps and make space there. This has provided in so many rounds where trade opportunities occur that wouldn't have occurred before. If I stayed silent and I just went straight up banana, nobody came with me, I didn't let anybody know, that trade wouldn't have happened. So whatever you're gonna do, whatever you say, people are gonna hear it, they're gonna digest that information, and they're gonna come to a decision on what they want to do based on what you said. And sometimes that's not the case, it's not always the case, but regardless, just that information of knowing exactly what one person is doing on your team is just so useful. And one tip with this is to turn it into a request sometimes. Say, I'm gonna run up banana, somebody come with me and trade me. It's an open request, anybody can do it, and like, I don't think I've ever had somebody just not do it. There's 4 people there, somebody's gonna wanna come and trade me banana, right? And who knows if I'll actually be needing traded, but regardless, it creates team play and it's gonna win you games. So if you'd like a video that's more catered towards skill number 1, your aim, game sense, whatever, I would go watch this one over here. It's about bad habits that ruin your aim, and I'm very happy with it. If you liked the vid, if you learned something new, please drop a like. Comment below your thoughts. Are you gonna do this? Are you not? What are your experiences in solo queue? Have a great day. Thank you so much.